Always checking on my neck because it can look like this, or it can look like this, or it can look like this. Because, isn't that what we all do when we look at ourselves in the camera? At least that's what I do. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. That sounded like the part of the twist, the disco version of it, but that's just in my brain. Okay, so here's a funny thing. I'm going to write this down right now because TikTok is trying to convince me that I don't know how to do. I think focus. Try to grow your team. Okay. How to shut off TikTok focus stuff in lives. First of all, the funny thing is, I'll riff on you here right now. TikTok, I know how to run a TikTok live. I love the people that I connect with. With the word team to me, I will share with this with anybody, so I tend to frame things in more a different way. Team to me reminds me of sports. Like, for example, here's the thing. Like, TikTok is telling me that one persona, hey, that one persona is saying, haven't joined your team. So what am I going to do? Be like, hey, that one persona, TikTok is telling me to bug you to join my team. You know what? I believe I choose free will. If you want to follow my TikTok page, you're going to follow my TikTok page. Maybe if you have followed my TikTok page or not. Maybe you're like, oh, maybe I could follow it. It's not a big deal. But yeah, there we go. Hey, thank you. See? We are talking like humans, not like, hey, thanks for having a good trip, but did you join my TikTok team? You're like, that's crapola, okay? So I did have a great trip. Good morning, Boston Mama. I was actually up in the Boston area. I actually went to the city of Boston, and it had been a wicked long time since I had been there. But thank you. Yeah, I am glad to be back. I had a good time. Actually, let me just shut this off here. Hold on. I did a lot of good stuff on my trip. I did. Some easy stuff, some not so easy stuff, some fun stuff. I ran the gambit. And you know what I did also? I took some time for myself. Because usually, frankly, when I go up to Boston, I have kind of a list of things to do and people to see. And I love seeing the people I love to see, but I also took time for myself. I also scheduled out what I was going to do, so I made sure that I had time between things. Now, I share this with you because it's a way of kind of living in the world that allowed me to get a lot of stuff done and feel good about it, but not feel burned out at the end. Now, I will say I did feel exhausted because even just the sheer, action of driving home, it takes like 6 hours for me to get back to where I am. That can take a toll on my physical body, So notice that. So that one persona, I love this. Trying to figure out what needs to be on my schedule today. I like to look at it sometimes this way. Look at it from the back end. Look at it, instead of now, it's 7:04 a.m. It's 7:04 a.m. and it's Tuesday, September 17th, and this is Beth from Destination Decluttered. That one persona, pretend it's 7 p.m. and you're looking back at today. What are some things that you would want to feel good, because it's all about feeling good. What would you feel good if you accomplished today, no matter how big or how small? How do you want to feel it in the next, in the future? The future is now, but the future is also 12 hours from now. So what are you going to feel good going to bed that you got done today? Or even if you didn't get it done, that you got something started that takes longer than it would do today. Also, when you are scheduling your stuff, that one persona, when you are scheduling yourself, please, 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 schedule yourself like a human, not a robot. Schedule yourself breaks to take a pee, to stretch your body, to eat something healthy, to take some fresh air, go out and, go and smell some fresh air, to move around, to lay down, to stretch, to distract yourself, to go look at TikTok and get your brain away from what you're doing so you can come back to it. Okay? So notice the things that you are going to feel good having accomplished, if they can be accomplished today, or even just getting started with a chunk of it. Now, I say this to schedule your day like a human and not like a robot or a machine or like a freaking, corporate, widgets per hour, KPIs, all that bullshit, because this is a way that you're going to be able to be sustainable along in the long term. If you try to show up regimented every day and saying that every day is just like every other and you should be producing X many widgets per day, that doesn't take into account your humanity. That does not take into account what's in here, what's in here, what's in here. Every day is going to look and feel a little bit different. Now, I love using this thing because I got it on vacation, but I specifically sought this out when I was, and it's like, ooh, look, I'm mesmerizing you. But I brought this because it reminds me that life is about balance and flow. Now, balance is not always 50-50. What it means is that things are going to be 60-40 or 70-30, and you're going to have a little bit of more energy on this day, and you're going to have a little bit less energy on this day. But you want to be like one of these cute little flamingos and just kind of rolling with it and flowing with it and readjusting, taking into account the energy you have in your day, the time you have available to do stuff, the other commitments you have, but always saying, I want to show up and do something for myself. Right, guys? Right. Because every day does look and feel a little bit different. Today I'm up at 7 o'clock. I had a 6 a.m. client. Tomorrow I have a TikTok live at a different time, and my coaching doesn't start till 8. I slept kind of crappily last night, which I'm bummed about because I thought my new pillow would help me. But so I woke up with not feeling so great. So what did I do? I stretched. I'm trying to do things that make me feel better because when I feel better, I do better. So notice these things you can do when you are even just looking at what is ahead of me today in the windshield. Through the windshield in 12 hours. How do I want to feel? And I want you to feel good because when you feel good, that makes you show up the next day and saying, hey, that wasn't so bad. I guess I'll continue on this journey called life. And I will congratulate myself for what I did do, and I will not beat myself up. Put that on your list of things to do today. Do not beat yourself up. To instead get curious about what you thought you were going to get done and what you didn't get done. And a lot of that, I will be honest with you, has to do with scheduling and time management. Now, time management seems really boring to me. Like there's the phrase, but managing your time to do what you want is something that's really cool. Okay? So now notice this. So I love this because we got Boston Mamas telling me good morning, and good morning Karen, Gen X Health and Wellness, and damn it, Donna is saying good morning from Pensacola. And I just, having spent a week in the Boston area, I see your name, and I'm like, damn it, Donna. And if I said Donna in a certain phrase, you would hear that I probably put an R on the end of your Donner, like Donner and Blitzen, Donna and Blitzen, not Donner. The Donner Party. But good morning. So good morning, everybody. Beth, Destination Decluttered, back from traveling. So I'm showing up doing TikTok lives because I enjoy it. I think it's fun. And I'm really doing this to help you. And from day to day, that changes. I never know what you need. This is why I don't do a lot of pre-recorded stuff. Because yes, we will hit many of the same kind of milestones in a TikTok live. People will probably say they're overwhelmed. People will probably come in and say they feel stuck or they feel a certain ugh kind of way. And I'm here to help you explore different things that you can do to change that. Okay, see, I love this, Donna. Right, exactly. Sit, cap, nice. I love New York. What a great vacation. So notice these things. But I'm here to just hang out, drink my tea, have a sip of water. See, I'm double fisting already today. I got my PG tips, and I got trying to hydrate with my water because I've got a long day ahead of me. And I have a chock-a-block full day myself. But I have some gaps in between it. And I'm feeling good about the time that I have scheduled things where I'm really focused. I feel good about the gaps I have and the things that I've scheduled for things that make me feel good during the day. I do not postpone joy, and I don't want you to either. Now, I know I call my coaching Destination Decluttered, But that is because the destination is really just almost like it is a feeling, it is a look and a function and a feeling of your home, or just your life if you want to get that broad about it, because it totally works that way. Your destination is almost like your North Star. So it's almost like your magnetic north. Like when you are heading forward, when you know what you're aiming for, I want my home to be relaxing and inviting. I don't want to feel stressed in my home. I want the surfaces to be clear. I want to be able to easily find things when I open up a door or a drawer. When you know that's what you're aiming for and you get a certain feeling in your bod about that, that feeling right there is not postponed joy. That's you feeling that joy in that moment. And that joy in that moment will encourage you to move forward so that the joy that you feel on the outside is also reinforced with what you see on the inside. Now, this is why I'm a decluttering life coach. I can help you declutter your life. I can help you coach about decluttering, and I can help you life coach, but they're all intertwined. They really are. And if you have tried to declutter your own home on your own, by yourself, or maybe with help, and you are not getting it done and it's not staying that way and you're not feeling good about it, that's when you know that there's something else, kind of, as I like to say, there's something going on under the hood. The next level down from the surface, I just need to do this, but then suddenly you're not doing the things that you just need to do. When you discover at the end of the day, you got a lot of other stuff done, but that big kind of scary thing that you're like not doing, you're like, I'm not even going to open the door to that room because it's overwhelming and I don't know what to do, so I don't do it. So there are ways. I am living, breathing proof of this because I used to be overwhelmed, negative, discouraged, feeling heavy. I swear to God, if I had felt better in my early days, my posture would be better. Instead of hanging there, overwhelmed with the weight of all this stuff on my shoulders. Now, whoosh, I have thrown that off. Like Cher in her hair. Gypsies, tramps, and thieves. And I didn't throw it all off in one fell swoop. Piece by piece, I lightened my load. I got focused on the things in my home that I wanted and the things in my home that I didn't. And then I was able to get in the habit of, and it was easy because I used to thrift and collect things all the time, so I just kind of reversed the process. I then went to thrift stores, but instead of going in the front door, I went to the back door and I dropped things off. Now, for years, I would do that and then go right around to the front door and load up again. Nowadays, I cannot tell you the last time I was in like the local thrift stores here because I just don't care to thrift anymore. Okay, that one persona. Any other time management, scheduling tips? Love your lives. They've helped me so much. Cool. Yes, I freaking love time management. And the reason I love it is because you are in control of a lot more of your time than you think you are. And I love, frankly, not control. Look at me, I'm Janet Jackson. I love doing what I want to do when I want to do it. Now, this doesn't happen all the time. The way my life is, frankly, though, it does because I don't have dependents. I have an independent husband. I am independent myself. Independent. Let's be independent together, right? But what I want you to do is instead of focusing on the negative, is focus on what can I do today, no matter how small, to keep me moving in the direction that I want to go. And whatever that direction is, that could be for your health, that could be for your decluttering, it could be for your career, it could be for your relationships, it could be for, all sorts of things. What can you do today, no matter how small? And also, in the decluttering mode, what do I already have on my schedule today that I don't feel like doing, that I don't want to do, but it's there for an obligation? Now, some obligations, like you're paying work, you have to do. Do you need to do 100% and give them 110%? No. Because if you are burned out from your job, you're giving your job all of your energy. They don't deserve all of your energy. I have been a manager. I've usually been independent. But when you have no energy left for yourself at the end of the day, no. give them 80%. Give them like a B plus, a B minus kind of job, so that when you clock out, and please do clock out. I'm old enough to remember literally punching the clock with a ka-chunk. Actually, I think of that one, but I also worked in many places where you slid it in there. Be greedy for yourself. Save some time and energy for the things that are important to you. Make the time and make the energy for the things that are important to you. Okay? Jess in LA, nice to see you. And Karen, I love the fact that you got my Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer thing. I pretty much am a steady stream of pop culture references from the Gen X era. This is literally, you guys, I do not do this for effect. This is how my brain works. This is how I communicate. Gen X pop culture is my love language. And it's a fun connection because this is, I have commercials and songs and TV shows and Christmas specials going through my head. But this is how it allows me to get together. Here, I'll hit you with another one, and this has to do with time management. I was talking about being independent together from Rudolph. How about this? How about this one? How about this one from, what is it? The Kris Kringle one? I always forget the name. It's the one where, Fred Astaire was the mailman. But remember this one? Put one foot in front of the other, do-do-do-do-do, and soon you'll be walking across the floor. Put one foot in front of the other, do-do-do-do, soon you'll be walking out the door, bu-bu-bu-bu-bu-bu. It's really all you need to remember from that song, but think about that. Just put one foot in front of the other. Santa Claus is coming to town. Okay, good one, thank you. I always forget the names of some of those ones. The year without a Santa Claus, I dreamed unhappy things. See, I'm telling you, I am a walking encyclopedia of useless information, but to me, if it puts a smile on my face and it makes a connection between us, it's totally not useless, it's useful, okay? But think about that, is put one foot in front of the other, and you're walking, but you're walking in a line. Make sure that where your line is going is to actually a destination you want to get to. Because sometimes we will do things that get us out of alignment, getting us turning away from on the wrong path, but like diverting from a place that we want to go to if we don't pay attention. It's like sometimes when you're driving your car and your wheels are out of alignment and you're like, whoa, I'm drifting to the out. I want to go straight on this road, but if I don't pay attention and course correct, I'm steering off to the to the gutter there, or the side of the road. Okay, so this is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. I do this sometimes, honestly, to bring myself back from my ADHD-inspired kind of pop culture and, riffing and stuff like that, but always going back to like the root note, if you were a musician or a jazz musician, or going back to, but why am I doing this? What am I here? It's because Destination Decluttered is really your destination of a life well lived before you die. There I am. It's not even 7:20 in the morning and I'm talking about death. But you know what? It's the one thing that we all have, and we have many things in common, but the one thing we have in common right now is that we're alive right now and we will be dead soon. And so let's live our lives before we die. Let's live a good life so when we're laying on our deathbed, we can look back on our lives and feel good about what we did as opposed to having regrets. I don't want to die with regrets, people, and I don't want you to either, because that would suck to feel like you're sitting there, you're laying there on your bed in an old age home, wherever, I don't know, but to say, fuck, I really should have done something back in September of 2024 to change my life so I'm not laying here on my deathbed with regrets, Yeah. No regrets. Exactly. Good morning, everybody. So yes, and the thing is, we don't know when we're going to go. So the sooner you start even getting on the destination, on that journey, it's going to feel good. And if it isn't feeling good, talk to me, because I really try to avoid doing anything that doesn't feel good. But I'm also doing tough things, but like I'm having serious conversations with my mother about her planning. I am, helping people declutter. I am decluttering myself. I am making decisions about things that I want in my life and things that I don't want in my life. But knowing that you're doing it for a bigger reason, And it's not a greedy reason. It's because when I feel better in my life, I do better for myself and for other people. Okay? Baby Sinister, I love it. Truth. Renee says, I needed your vibe this morning. You got it. You asked for it. You got it, Toyota. You know what? Here's how I show up. This is what I call this is like coachy energy. This is just how I live. It can be annoying to people who know me because I'm like, on the other hand, this crappy thing that happened to you, you learned something from it so you won't do it again. Now, I'm not always that yippee skippy. I will share with you. I'm not always that yippee skippy. However, I know it feels so much better. And you know why I know it feels so much better to accentuate the positive? It's because I spent decades focusing on the negative. And what you focus on grows. You focus on something and it just grows in you. Like, oh, look at all the shitty stuff that happened to me. Let me tell you, the drama of how I was, my tale of woe. When you keep on telling your tale of woe, you're digging it in deeper. You're making it more alive. You're not allowing it to fade off and wither and die. And you're also not replacing it with a better story. And you can do this, even in the most tiny ways. Tiny things can be really powerful. Tiny things can be really powerful. So don't dismiss it, even if it's just changing one thought of your day today. One thought in your day of, instead of, I can't do this, I'm overwhelmed. How about this? I can do this. And I know from listening to Beth at Destination Decluttered on TikTok this morning, that if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I have a solution, which is to chunk it down. Okay, yes, Karen says, look for the glimmers. Yeah, something that's a little sparkly, being like, ooh, look at that. Instead of ugh or meh, go like, ooh, or yay, like, ooh, look at that. Like, ooh, that sounds interesting. I did that yesterday. I booked a trip out to see my nephew. We're going to go see him in Denver because I got an email. I had been wanting to do this for a while from a restaurant that was like, we're opening up reservations. And I'm like, ooh, that could be fun. And then I looked at different things. I looked at things with the numbers, the calendar, the bank account, my nephew's schedule, got in touch with him. And I said, okay, the numbers are going to work. Let's do it. And I made it happen. And I'm wicked excited to have something to look forward to. And we're not even there yet. Here's the thing. I'm not even there yet. But the vibe of that trip is causing me to, every time I think of it between now and then, to be like, ooh, that's going to be fun. Ooh, I can't wait. That's why even not being at the destination allows you to feel that good feeling every day. Okay? Baby Sinister says, I want to figure out a new career, but I have no idea what to do, and I'm 63. Maybe you should wait till when I'm 64. What I want you to, but this is what I would do. Baby Sinister, at this point in your life, you get to do what you get to do. Figure out what brings joy to your life. And even if that means that you got to go in and just do a job, there are certain jobs that you do more easily than other jobs. I know myself, I tend to like to organize things, make order out of chaos. So I worked in retail, I worked in management, I worked in visual merchandising. I like to help people. Figure out the things that the tasks or the skills that you have that you like to use. Do I like to be, I don't know, there's stuff I don't like to do. But I can't even think of it because why focus on the negative? Yeah. Accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Latch on to the affirmative, don't mess with Mr. In-Between. I will not sing the whole song. You can Google it. Accentuate the positive, people. It's true because you cannot be negative and positive at the same time. You get to choose the thought you have in your head. What's it going to be, boy? Yes or no? Okay? You can choose the unhelpful thought of, oh my God, I'm 63 and I don't know what I want to do. Or you can be like, hey, I got a few years left of me yet. What do I want to do? I want to do something fun. I want to do something that makes me feel good. Busted makes me feel good. Can you tell I've had caffeine this morning? Figure out what makes you feel good. And do it. Figure out what doesn't make you feel good and don't do it. I don't like to run. I don't like to do sporty things. I don't like to sit at the same desk unless it's my desk. But even my desk, I don't like to sit for hours on end doing the same thing. So maybe you want a job where you're up and walking around. You're allowed to up and walk around, Chrissy Jump, nice to see you. Yeah. Okay, Linda Moser says, yeah. Linda Moser is saying, Moser Gear just turned 70. Time in front of me is shorter than the time in back of me, so I'm organizing what's left. Yes. And notice the parallels between decluttering your home and decluttering your life. Organizing your home, organizing your life. In both instances, you are taking stock with what's there and saying, what do I want? I will keep what I want. I'm making a conscious decision to keep this item in my home, this whatever in my life. I am saying yes to this, but I am also saying, what do I not want in my home? What do I not want in my life? And I'm saying, get rid of what I don't want sooner rather than later. Because notice the math, okay? Here, I'm totally making this up right now. I'm like a jazz musician. Man, I'm riffing, okay? This is the stuff that's in your life. And you're saying, hey, you know what? I definitely want to keep this one in here, right? But you know what? I don't want this. So you take it out, okay? I want to keep this one, but I don't want to keep this one. Okay, I want to keep this one, but I don't want to keep this one. I want to keep this. I don't want that one, okay? Notice what we have now. When you remove what you don't want, you're left with nothing but stuff you do want. I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. You asked for it, you got it, Toyota. Okay? So notice how that works. When you remove the things you don't want, you are left with just the stuff you do want. And now I'm going to put these back in here because I actually want these all. They're all basically, there's a few repetitions here, but you know, I swear to God, I stole this from a job that I had and I haven't worked there for 8 years, but it still works, so I use it. I mean, oops, it ended up in my bag on the day that I left. How's that? So, yep, Bing Crosby. I love this. Chrissy is saying, I'm doing small projects throughout my house and I notice the difference. Okay? Notice the difference. When I notice the difference, and Chrissy, think about this too, and I'll ask you this. You will probably notice the difference visually. It looks different. It looks better in certain areas of your house. I'm going to bet that when you look at those different areas of your house, like the Bionic Man, that beep, 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 you get a feeling back from that thing that makes you feel good. When you look at that, I remember I used to do that when I was a kid. So I grew up in a cluttered household and I really was never taught the skill of decluttering or organizing or maintaining a decluttered home because neither of my parents had that skill. So I was a cluttered kid. I was cluttered when I was at college. I was cluttered, really, I had the tendencies of it all throughout my life into probably my 40s. When did we move here? Because I really feel like I got my act together about this when I was in my late 40s, early 50s. I'm now in my late 50s. I wish I had gotten these skills sooner rather than later. I got a lot more than many people because I worked in jobs that gave me the experience and taught me some skills about how to at least make the surfaces look good. Like working in a store, I worked at Pier 1, Mikasa. Visual merchandising is all about the visual. But I know that when things look better on the surface, I feel better looking at those surfaces. So I'd be like doing a job and then I'd step back and I'd look and I'd be like, ooh, that feels good. Or, you know what, that's a little off. I need to readjust that plate. Okay, that feels good. Notice the parallel between what things look like and how you feel. Okay? So notice, Chrissy Jump is saying, I'm doing small projects throughout my house and I notice the difference. You can notice it up here in your head and you can also notice it down here in your heart and your nervous system. Okay? And I love that. And notice that awesome phrase. Chrissy is saying, I feel so accomplished. Looking around and seeing you turning your home without the aid of HGTV and a whole crew of people and all that kind of stuff, you have transformed even a small section of your home into something that makes you feel proud of your accomplishment. Isn't that not a feeling that you could carry around with you for the rest of the day? I accomplished something. I am a person who can accomplish things. I accomplish things. I get shit done. And notice even when I'm talking about that myself, my posture is a little bit better. I'm like, damn, people. You know? So Chrissy, rock on. The reason I do this with clutter is because sometimes the life coaching can be overwhelming. You don't even know. It's so obtuse. But when you can learn the skills of doing things to make you feel better, because when you feel better, you do better, you can do that in every area of your house. You know? Now, I love this. That one persona said, real-time victory. I found $7.50 in rolled coins cleaning out a drawer. Right. And It's Hey 21 says, I always find so much change when cleaning. I like to think it's God rewarding me. You guys, so this is a fun time for me to either reintroduce myself in case we haven't met before. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I mention this specifically because of the money thing. I'll get to it in a sec. And it's not because I do one-on-one paid coaching, but since we were talking about money, I will mention that. However, people on my mailing list. So I have a free mailing list. You can sign up for it at my website, destinationdecluttered.com. I mention that for two specific reasons. One is tonight is the night of our group Zoom coaching that I do once a month free just for the people on the mailing list. So if you're curious about that, it's on Zoom tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. You get the link by joining the mailing list at destinationdecluttered.com. Okay. But the other reason I mention that is because my TikTok lives are recorded and I upload them to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. Now, again, I mention this specifically because the people on the mailing list get first dibs on seeing the most recent ones. Like they have access to all the ones I've done in September. If you're not on the mailing list, you can go to my Destination Decluttered YouTube channel and you'll see August. Like literally, there's a ton of them. I mention this because a few TikTok lives ago, I started riffing and I was like, oh yeah, like finding money while you are decluttering, like thinking of decluttering as a treasure hunt. And I am not kidding you because, and it's on a recording. You can look it up. I don't remember which one. Maybe I tagged it, but we were up to literally over $500,000 that people have found in their homes. Now, this is one of them was somebody said they found $500,000 in the back of like a cabinet in their life. But even without that, we were up to thousands of dollars that people have found in their homes between cash and, checks that they haven't deposited and gift cards, stuff like that there. So I offer to you, instead of thinking of decluttering as a chore, think of, ooh, I might find something valuable here. And even if it isn't valuable in the external world, like money or diamonds or gold, I will tell you, if you have broken gold, you can sell that for coin. Or even better, the folding money. Even if it isn't anything like that, what you're going to discover, what you're going to find, the treasure you're going to find is in here. Is you're going to connect up to the things that you, like, what do you want your life to look and feel and function like? What are the things that you see that you go, yay, I found this, versus, ugh, I found this. And when you find the ugh things, be able to let go of those and get them out of your life. You know? Yeah, that one persona says, yeah, I remember that live. It was kind of a wow moment. I thought it was really fun too because I started like writing down. I was like, okay, I'm doing the math and I'm old school. So I wrote it down and I carried the one. It is fun. I think of decluttering as fun, and I want you to think of it too. What am I going to discover today? Now, sometimes things will be scary. I have a client who literally, when I was traveling, she sent me an email. She's like, did you hear me screaming from all the way across the country? Because she lives in California. I live in PA, but I was up in Mass at the time. And she said, I was going through my stored clutter in my shed. And I opened a box and screamed because the stuff had been in there for so long. Critters had chewed their way into the box, chewed up some pillows, and also pooped all over the place. So when you're decluttering, you're going to discover things that you're going to be surprised to get. But how about this? How about sooner rather than later? How about decluttering sooner than getting to your stuff sooner than the critters do? So you will get some things that you discover that surprise. I could open up a box and see a picture from like my first wedding that it was in the early 90s. The wedding that didn't work out. I probably won't, frankly, because I have, gotten rid of most of the evidence of that. But I always know I was married the first time. I'm not hiding it. But I don't need, the giant fucking, binder of photos. I don't need all the evidence of something that didn't work out. What I have now is evidence of my second keeper marriage that's been going on for 22 plus years that I freaking love. Those photos I keep. But even with the one that didn't work out, I will share with you that there can be some good stuff. You can pull out the photos. There's a picture of myself and my mother and her mother. And they weren't hanging up clothes and punching each other in the nose. But at my first wedding, it's one of the few pictures I have where we're all kind of looking halfway decent and we have makeup on and we look good. So even though it came from my first wedding, I kept it. I have a picture of myself and my cousin dancing to Mary Mary from the Monkees on the dance floor at my first wedding. That cousin of mine just passed away. So did I throw away all the photos? No. I went through them and I kept the ones that still had meaning to me, but I got rid of the ones that made me feel like crap. Okay? You know? Now notice this too. This is a wonderful thing. Susie Q27 is just saying, while decluttering, I also think, wow, how did I let it get this out of control? Now this is a really interesting question if you ask it to yourself with the right energy. If you use the energy of curiosity, legit love and curiosity, people, love and curiosity, peace and love, peace and love. That's where you want to feel when you're going through this. Love and curiosity. What you don't want to do is say this to yourself with judgment and shame and fear and meanness. No. How did I let this get out of control? That's not going to give you the answer. You yell at somebody, they will shut up. They will not give you an answer. You get curious, no expectations. Hey, how did I let this get out of control? And then you look back for reasons why. Oh, well, I was caring for my sick mother. Oh, well, I was busy with my career. Oh, I was raising children. Oh, I didn't know what to do, so I did the best I could. But what you can say is, hey, I let it get out of control in the past, but right now I am decluttering and I am getting it into control. I always like to think of the opposite. Kind of like, again, pop culture reference coming in. We'll look out. That episode of The Brady Bunch where Davy Jones, it was almost like two shows met at the same time. Davy Jones came to Marsha Brady, and they're sitting there on the couch. You can totally picture that living room. Totally not cluttered, but it was a set. They're sitting there on the couch, and he says, how about the flip side? She gives him like a little kiss on the cheek. He says, how about the flip side? And the kids go, ooh. How about there's always a flip side? If you don't like the song on this side, flip it over. It's a better song on the other side. So if you don't like being out of control, how can you start to get things into control? Now, I teach people how to declutter because I have discovered in myself and other people that there are people, and there's no shame in it. There's no shame in saying, when you look back at your life, you were raised by people who didn't have a sustainable way of keeping a house decluttered and organized and not overwhelmed with stuff you don't need. I say this because I look back historically at the last 100 years of our United States history, and I see that I was raised by people who were directly affected by the Great Depression of the 20s and 30s, who were directly affected by the lack of resources during World War I, World War II. And those things from your childhood, from my childhood, affect you for the rest of your life. If you don't notice them, you are running on old tapes. You are running on ways of living and thinking and acting that could be 60, 70 years old. Don't throw that away. We might need it someday. You can't do that. You spent good money on that. Yeah, save it. It was so-and-so. Save it. You may need it. There is nothing wrong with saving. Do not get me wrong. I am not saying pitch at all. But what I'm saying is you have the opportunity right now to notice those thoughts in your head, as that one persona said, even putting it in quotes, those things. It's somebody else's words. You can't let go of that. That was Grammys. You have to hang on to that because those were your parents' wedding china. Says who? I like to be a little bit of an anarchist. I was really more of a new waver than anarchistic, but I used to hang out with the punk rockers. So just question that. Yeah, says who? It's my life. Don't you forget. You can do something different. You won't do something different, though, if you believe the thoughts in your head that are keeping you stuck. If you believe in them and you think that they're the only thoughts in your head, you're going to keep on doing the same thing over and over again. Even my hand is saying, yeah, notice that. You're going to do the same thing. you can choose to think a different thought. And I want your thought, please, when you're thinking a different thought, don't think another crappy thought. Think another better thought. Think of something slightly better. Talk to yourself better. Treat yourself nicely. Don't beat yourself up. Diamond Gel is saying, my husband passed 4 years ago. I can't seem to get rid of his things. That's okay. Nobody's saying you have to. I don't know how I would deal with some of my, some people might get rid of it all because they don't want to deal with the pain. Other times you want to hang on to things and, does that t-shirt still smell like him? Oh, look, this is something he was really, into. And I want to just share with you that notice you may have a fear of being afraid that if you remove the things that were his, that somehow you are not honoring his memory. You may also have a fear that if you remove his things, that you may forget him. And I just want to reassure you, you will never forget the people you love. Shit, you won't forget the people you don't love either. I can still conjure up a picture of my ex-husband. But you will never forget people. You do not need one stitch of evidence of a person to remember them. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I have a picture somewhere in this closet, because I have to organize my own pictures, of me and my cousin Kim, or my cousin Kim and I know, dancing at my first wedding. Even if we didn't have that picture, I would still never forget my cousin. She's now gone. I don't own anything that was hers, but you know where she lives, and this is where your husband lived. This is where the people that you're reminded of. Sentimental clutter reminds you of people and things and stories. All of those stories already exist in your head and in your heart. They will never go away. If you want to keep a memento, a souvenir to remind yourself of them, I collect souvenirs. Not as much as I used to, because they cluttered up my house. But just remember, your husband's spirit does not live in the things that he collected. My husband's spirit is not in all those guitars that if he dies, I will sell to people who want to play the guitar. My husband's spirit, even right now, lives in me, even though he's sleeping in the other room. So I say this because part of decluttering is not just how it looks on the surface or how it looks when you open up a door or a drawer or a cabinet or a closet. It's right down here in your heart, your sentimental clutter, the stuff that causes you to feel feelings. And I just want to say to you, it's okay to feel those feelings. And when you say, I can't seem to get rid of his things, maybe it's not all of his things, but maybe there are some that you are ready to let go of right now, and that's okay. You are moving forward at a pace that feels right to you. Honor that, okay? Honor that, all right? There we go. So Cap is 28, saying, had an apartment and a back at home, told to save for future house, and I also want to live for now. Okay, you can do the both. To me, it's like, I always forget this. I started doing two things. I'll share with you my kind of behind the scenes. It's a combination of conjunction, junction, what's your function, and also improv. I'm thinking of like Tina Fey, and not Saturday Night Live, but before that, they were in like Second City, or what at Windy City, all that kind of improv. Yes, and. So yes, you can save for a future house, and you can live for now. And you can do things that help you feel good while you're saving for a house. It can feel good to not go out to dinner when you're putting that dinner money in a jar that says, this is going to buy my new home. It can feel good to be creative and frugal, to say, hey, why don't you guys come over here, and instead of us going out for cocktails, we'll buy a bottle of hooch and we'll have some cocktails right here. It can feel fun because then everybody's saving money if you want to. There are also times when it feels good to splurge, but a splurge over time actually becomes like it's not a splurge anymore because you're not contrasting it with the non-splurgies. Okay? So me, nice to see you. Yes, I am glad, and welcome home. I am in my home. I loved coming back to my home from traveling because my home is my sanctuary. My home is my happy place. My home is filled with just the right amount of items that I love, that are useful. Very, very, very few items that I don't want anymore. Literally, you guys, and I've worked on this for years. Not that it's going to take you years. It took me way too long to do this. This is why I show up, to give you the shortcut. But I was going down the basement to to drop my suitcase down there, even though we're leaving again on Friday. And I looked, and honest to God, the stuff that I have left that I need to do something with is a tiny table with a few things on top. It has taken a while for me to get there. And also the wonderful thing is I'm not actively collecting as much as I used to. Did I buy a record by Scruffy the Cat when I was up in Boston that I found at the thrift store? Hell yeah. Did I buy some snow domes? You guys know I have over 100 snow domes on collection because I used to collect them in the 80s and 90s. But I found two that I'm like, I don't know, these are only $3 and I don't have them, so I'll add them to my collection. That was a rarity. I do not bring stuff into my house like I used to. And that feels okay. I'm not denying myself. What I enjoy is the space. I'm looking over right now. I got a box here with a lamp. I am so excited to hang up. So it's not like I say I never get stuff again, but man, have I turned the faucet down on what comes in, and I've increased what came out, and I feel, where's my little thing here? I'm feeling kind of like just right. I'm feeling kind of floating along, easy on the top, you know? Feels good to declutter. All right? Okay, Nixie123. Oops, it just spot. Yeah, I read that keeping one item that represents the person you loved is just as impactful as keeping a lot. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, Danielle. I used to think I was going to be a crafty person. I truly did, and I have done some crafts in the past. That is okay, Danielle. Notice, you know. See, already there's an answer. You have something you don't want, somebody wants it. Somebody out there wants it. Now, It's Hey 21 says, if you want to get rid of it, I'll buy it. My 10-year-old loves making jewelry. So you guys could totally connect offline, like through the chats or whatever, the DMs. There's so many platforms. But here on TikTok, and be like, hey, yeah, I'll send it to you, or I'll buy it from you, or whatever it is. Trust that it's okay that it's awesome that you used to make jewelry. It is totally awesome right now that you haven't made jewelry in a while, but you're noticing that. You now are a point of awareness. I am aware that I have some jewelry making items. I am aware that I have not used them since 2006. I am also hopefully aware that right now I don't think I want to make jewelry anymore, because if I truly wanted to, I would have actively been making jewelry since 2006. Now, again, this is a point of decision. This is like a fork in the road. And saying, okay, do I want to keep this stuff with the intention of using it? Well, yeah, then let's make a plan to use it. Let's make a plan to make some jewelry. But if the idea of making jewelry makes you go, that's not the feeling you want in your life. You know, when you started the jewelry making, you were like, ooh, let's do this. Ooh, this is fun. Ooh, I like this. Sometimes that feeling is short-lived. That's okay. You had that feeling at the time. You can also let the jewelry stuff go. You can be cool with, like, I had a good time with that stuff now. Now I'm done. It doesn't mean I'm fickle. It doesn't mean anything bad. It means that I got joy from that. Who I was at the time got joy. I am different now. And I want space in my life and space in my home for different experiences, for different things. And I can choose to let go of the jewelry making items without guilt, without fear, without, shame. And when I can do that, there's somebody else out there who wants this stuff. Even if it isn't It's Hey 21. There could be somebody in your neighborhood, in your community, in, stuff like that there that wants that stuff like you wanted it at the time. You're growing and changing, people. It's okay. There we go. JB and MCD says, I have to leave now, but I already feel like I have a new lease on life. Awesome. And that's all we have is a lease on life. We don't own it. We're only here temporarily. So make the most of the time that you're leasing on this planet. Okay? Yeah, Big Ol' 88. I love snow domes. Yeah, I love the ones I have, but even those ones, I have culled through them. I've revisited my collections. If you're a collector here, revisit your collections and see if you still love them en masse altogether, but also say, even if you do, are there some that I love more than others? Now, I went through my snow dome collection a while back, and I found some that were empty, that the water had evaporated. Now, I have I have filled these things up before, but there were some also that had faded. There were some that I actually never really liked to begin with, but I was working on that kind of quantity versus quality. So I curated my collection. Notice, even me, I'm using like the combing, the raking motion in my hand. I pulled out the things I didn't want and I let them go, like the dead leaves in my yard. Okay? You know? Okay, I do silversmithing at the museum to make jewelry, but not the beaded ones. See, notice what you did. You notice what you do, and you notice what you don't do. Maybe your beading items can go to somebody else who's wicked excited about beadings. Yeah, because you find it tedious. Notice these things about yourself. Do not be ashamed of them. Embrace the discovery of who you are. Notice who you were. Notice how you are. And notice who you want to be in the future. Do I want to spend my life doing tedious beading? No. So don't feel guiltily hanging on to that stuff. Release it out there and choose to believe. This is one of my things. I choose to believe that when I donate something, it's going to connect up to somebody who's going to love it. And I know this happens because most of the stuff in our house has been thrifted. So somebody donated it or sold it somewhere and we bought it and it connected up to us. You know? Yes. Carrie Patterson, quantity versus quality. Yes, I don't need that anymore. Curating your life. Curating means only keeping the good stuff. I went to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum this past week. It was really funny because Kara, who's usually on here occasionally, had gone there and did a video. And I was like, that is crazy because I had literally been thinking of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum before I left for my trip. Before she did her videos. I ended up going and think about that. Your house is not a museum. This was a museum, legit. But the concept is the same. Is saying, what am I going to allow into my collection? No, that's not of the quality we want. Thank you, but no, I don't want that. That does not fit my vibe. You know, there was a vibe in the Isabella Stewart Gardner. She had a certain things she liked. She had a lot of things. It wasn't totally matchy-matchy. That would have been boring. She had an eclectic taste and she had this in this room and that in that room. But it all came together because it was all her vision and her feeling about these things. So I don't want you to say, oh, I have to live in a museum. No, your life, I like to think of my life, my home, frankly, as my artistic expression. I think of that as, it's more like a home museum as you walked in and you see how somebody lived and the things that meant something to them. And it didn't look like a Pottery Barn catalog. It didn't look like a generic picture from, Instagram. It looked, you could feel, you could sense the personality and the heart of the person by what their home looked like and how you felt like when you were going in it. Okay? So, yeah, we don't do that here. No. Even museums have curators. They have to have curators because other than that, people will be like, well, I got this picture of a dog and I've got this picture of, a building and I've got this sculpture of a heart and, and you have to say, I appreciate that thing, but it is not for me. I appreciate what you're doing, but I'm going for a vibe here that resonates with me. And I was an art history major. I got a degree in being more confident in my feelings about art. And I can appreciate things, but it doesn't mean I have to like them. And it doesn't mean I'm wrong or bad or stupid if I don't like what other people like. I want you to think that. I know many people like this. They tend to all be in New England. But it's like, I like what I like. I like it how I like it, and I don't like it how I don't like it. I'm quoting somebody I know, but it's the same thing. I know what I like, and I know what doesn't just do it for me. Okay? I like garlic. I don't like licorice. I like coffee, and I like tea. I don't like coffee. I like tea. Doesn't mean I'm bad or wrong. It's just different. There's room for all of us here, okay? You like your house looking like a colonial Williamsburg. I prefer like the combination of like a Palm Springs home that was decorated by Pee Wee Herman and the vibe of the Monkees beach house. Seriously? Seriously, that's my vibe. That is totally my vibe. Okay? With a little bit of Allie Willis thrown in. If you Google all of those things, you would see what my design references are. Or at least they were when I first decorated this house. Now, I've been here 20 years. There are some things that have changed along the line. I have less kind of Americana and road trippy things because I'm no longer writing about road trips, you know. And Kim Jenner, nice to see you. I love that you're listening before you're in your classroom, before your students arrive. Here's the funny thing, so nice to see you. Abbott Elementary, I like cilantro. My husband does not. It tastes like soap to him. Some people like walnuts and spinach, and I find that I have a physical reaction to them. There's nothing wrong with any of this stuff. We are who we are, and we are awesome. When we stop judging ourselves and judging others and just lean into the love we have for ourselves, the love radiates out to other people. When you're not loving yourself, I saw a thing on TikTok last night from RuPaul about this. When you don't love yourself, it's really hard to love other people. So start here where it counts, you know? And KY Momo says, I have things my grandmother left me. I just have them stored in a curio cabinet taking up space. Now, your grandmother doesn't want you to be unhappy. I'm sure she left you those things because she thought it was a good thing. Maybe she thought you could get money from them. Maybe she didn't want you to, don't you forget about me. She didn't want to be forgotten about. Maybe you thought you liked those things. Embrace the love of her message, and also you can do that while releasing the objects if you don't like them. Yeah, and Cap says, I like that decluttered people can totally be collectors. 100%. If anything, I love my collections even more because I know that my record collection, my Snow Dome collection, there's other collections I have. I tend to, 3 things, and anything more than 3 things, I think it's a collection. I have a collection of souvenir matchbooks, but here's the difference, is I go through them. I play with my toys. I go through the things I have collected, and I touch base to say, do I still want to keep this in the collection? Does this thing have meaning to me or not? Because for a while there, I was just collecting for volume, for that maximalist whole bunch of things, like look at all this stuff. But what I realized is when I did that, I was losing the personal connection. When I see even just the small box, and I keep it in a small box, of matchbooks, every single one of them there tells me a story, a personal story about me, of where I went, not where somebody else went. I also have a collection of Swizzle sticks. Now those are not just, there's some of mine, but there's some others that I thrifted some places, but I also went through and curated ones that I kind of liked from that. I have a collection of state glasses that I bought, vintage state glasses that are on a shelf in my kitchen. Would I collect those now? No. Do I collect them? No. I let the container dictate how many I had. I have a 4-foot shelf, and I said, I will fill that shelf, but after that, I'm done. If I moved out of this house and I went somewhere else, would I decorate in the same way? In the same way that the stuff in my house means something to me, yes. But would I use that as an opportunity to release some of my collections that had fun in this house to the wild? Yeah. You know? And, as Abbott Elementary says, German Maid says, yep, cilantro equals soap. To me, stuff makes my teeth squeak. Learning to love yourself is the greatest gift of all. It really is. And I know they sing songs about it, and it sounds really hokey, but it is true. All right? And I love that one persona that you say, I like the thought of curate versus organize. Yeah. Notice the difference a subtle shift can be in a word. Organize versus curate. Organize, meh. Curate, ooh. Notice the words you use that make you feel good and use more of them. Notice the words you use that make you feel like crap and work them out of your language. Okay? Now, I gotta go because I'm coaching literally in like a minute. But just as a reminder, tonight, if you're on the mailing list, we're doing our monthly group Zoom. If you want to get on the mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com. When you're on the mailing list, you'll also know what time I show up tomorrow for a TikTok live. So if you liked this, sign up for the mailing list. And also, I don't know, there's something else. Oh yeah, like my page. TikTok is telling me to like my page. Okay. I will see you when I see you. Okay.